Welcome to our YouTube video series on Rethinking Commission Agreements. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal, and in this particular YouTube video we'll be discussing the aspect of exclusivity. Exclusivity, in many regards, is an aspect that has not grown over the past century. It is something that a lot of people who are unfamiliar with commission arrangements tend to revert back to because it's a simple procedure and it seems to make a lot of sense, when in fact, in my professional estimation, it does not make a lot of sense in a standardized, simplistic form. The reasoning behind this is that you look at when commission agreements were operating, even 50 years ago, but more so a century ago, when a lot of commission arrangements became solidified, and those concepts continue to this day, in the sense that there were marked territories that people would work, and they would aggressively work those territories and pursue the leads within them. But this was an era where telephone communications were somewhat still prevalent, but the internet did not exist. And because the internet not existing, the boundaries, the locales were more confined, and they did make a lot more sense. Now with the internet, with the degree of marketing that goes on, it's difficult to really confine oneself to those very tight spaces when marketing, promotion transcends boundaries, and they also end up seeing communications flowing with purchasers who operate on a far more multi-jurisdictional level. They purchase on behalf of beyond their community, their city. They purchase in multiple states, for multiple states. They purchase from multiple countries. So you have this new further dynamic where things are operating on a far broader scale, and exclusivity does not necessarily make a lot of sense in the most basic of forms that a lot of agreements provide for. There is another element that one needs to consider before going too hard down the standardized form of exclusivity, and that is the fact that unless you come in with a very solid reputational commission salesperson, a lot of them out there talk a big talk but are not able to effectively produce the results they claim they are able to do. And by locking yourself into a standardized exclusivity arrangement, you will cut yourself off from a lot of business opportunities, a lot of sales opportunities that you could be progressing either aggressively or secondarily through, for example, internet marketing, promotions that go across these artificial boundaries that would exist with exclusivity agreements that give broad swaths of territory. So how do we rethink this whole concept of exclusivity? Well, the way we rethink it is we focus more so on a tiered arrangement where the commission salesperson, the commissioned agent, needs to justify their retention of the exclusive area or their attaining of exclusivity to certain target territories or lead companies and purchasers. And this is where you need to be focusing on, because if somebody's not willing to produce, it's one thing to provide a degree of exclusivity for a trial period of 6 months and 12 months, and if they're not producing, they need to be cut out. But then you get into legal problems that most businesses would rather not avoid. What you want to be doing is saying you want to have them actually work aggressively to develop those business contacts and make progress specifically to the purchaser, whether it's a business or an individual. And this is not simply a matter of making cold calls, sending massive letter campaigns, email campaigns out there. There needs to be substantive progress. So what are you looking at needing to do? You need to track this information. They need to track the information. It needs to be in the contract that they're tracking this, they're reporting this back. So instead of providing them exclusivity to come into your business, what you are instead doing is telling them, you, through the work that you do, can earn exclusivity specific to your targets. Not so much the territory. Territory sometimes could be in play, but more so the targets. So if you're targeting certain companies and you're actually doing substantive penetration work to pursue those companies, you need to be tracking that information, reporting it back, and having a solid record. And by doing that, whether it is through yourself and your own efforts, or potentially they go work around yourself and they communicate to someone else in the office and they start to engage the business, that the commission salesperson or agent is entitled to that commission arising from that particular pursuit. Because they have been pursuing, they've built up the goodwill, they've integrated into it, and they have justifiably realized that target into a purchaser. This is what you need to be focusing on with both your commission arrangements and the underlying agreements that you negotiate with your sales representatives and agents, so that they are motivated to pursue aggressively these targets. And it is communicated to everyone that their pursuits are now part of that agent's or sales representative's spectrum of commission deals. The commissioned sales representatives and agents are far more focused on the task at hand, and they understand the need to report back, to work aggressively and substantiate their work with those particular individuals. They need to make incremental progress that is more than simplistic engagement, and that by itself will justify their entitlement to their commission payments. This is how you need to be reapproaching your commission agreements in one aspect in this new era of what I might call a degree of laziness on the part of some people who come forward and want to claim that they can sell your product, but they want exclusivity. You have to focus on what's best for your company and what will get the most out of people. If people really believe that they can sell for you, they should not be afraid of taking a more informed, a more expectation-oriented, results-oriented approach to commission sales, because that is the only way that you will succeed, and that is the only way they should be thinking they will succeed. And that way you have created a more symbiotic relationship with your commission sales representatives and agents to better develop your business and pursue it to a greater degree with confidence and with strength. I hope this YouTube video has been informative and shows you where you should be looking at with respect to developing your engagement of your commission sales force. For more information, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube video series, but also for specific questions, please contact us and we will gladly work with you on developing the best type of commission agreement that could serve your particular business and get the most out of your commission salespeople, as well as helping commission salespeople get the most out of their pursuits in engaging companies who want to work with commissioned sales representatives and agents who have a true desire of making money for both sides. And that's the critical thing in these arrangements. Both parties work together and both mutually succeed and profit from it. Thank you.